what are we doing? Hey, Ashley, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing today? Good morning. Oh, all right. Hello. Okay. How's it going? How's the. Ooh, okay. Okay. Ah, uh, are you. I'm hoping you're walking and exercising, yeah? I don't know how much exercising you can do, but I'm hoping you can do some exercises, yeah? Okay. We Yeah. Sometimes when I did it, I was counting my steps and that helped. Um, I don't know if that would help you. Mm. Okay. So what are we doing? Haha, we have three people. All right. What we're gonna do is we're not gonna talk. Yeah, yeah, just to be able to track it. Okay. So you could use the abacus to track it. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't use the abacus to track it because it moves too easy. But yeah, I think what I did is back in the day we had like Fitbits and stuff, and so I would just use that to track my steps, just to make sure you hit it, just to keep an eye on it. I know that when I did exercises when I was pregnant, it helped a lot. But that's just me. That's all I know. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is understand that this is an abacus. This is an abacus that we are using to count and to track our numbers. When we're tracking our numbers, we're going to look that this is zero. None of the beads are touching the point. None of the beads are touching this horizontal bar. So the beads are not touching the horizontal bar. That means that this is zero. When we look, this is one. Just like how we have one pig. So in this workbook that I've created, we have one pig. One looks like this. One pig, one on the abacus. When we have two snakes. Because we have two snakes, we can do one, two. Two on the abacus, two snakes. And then we have three. We have three on the abacus, right? We have three. One, two, three. We have three chipmunks. So what does three look like on the abacus? The abacus, one, two, three. Now, does anybody have any questions? We have a few people coming in. What we're doing is we're learning how to read the abacus. When we read the abacus, we're learning how to count and understand how the abacus is being used. So here we have four koalas. I was counting big koalas or little koalas. Does the column matter? You know what? That is a great question. It does matter which column. Just like if I had $1 bill, it would be one. If I had a $10 bill, the one would be a one and a zero. I'm looking for paper. Oh, I didn't get paper. Okay, sorry. So here, if you notice, I have my ones indicator. Just like a Pokemon, choose one or the other. So in this one, I have. Now, if this is the case, if you choose this one, which is fine, you could choose whichever one you want, depending on how big the numbers is. When I line it up, we have our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000. But notice it only has the ones and the tens. So this is my ones and my tens, but notice I don't have any more beads to do the hundreds. So when I choose this one instead, notice, right? My ones light up with my ones. So every column is a place value. My ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000. So now I can have 10,000 in my number. I could do 13,925. Make sense? Thank you for the question. That was a very good question. And I need to find paper. There we go. Here we go. Okay, good. So we had four. To do four, I'm going to clear my abacus. That's how we clear the abacus. And notice when I clear my abacus, I have no beads touching this. Yeah, not a problem, Infinite. Um, because I have my zero, this is zero. None of the beads are touching the horizontal bar. So when we're looking at it, when we want to do four, one, two, three, four, we have four koalas, four big koalas is what I'm trying to do. We do four. One, two, three, four. And then we have all these activities that the kids can go through. And because we have all these activities, this is just to solidify what the numbers are and how we're just doing number and bead recognition. So now we're at five. what we're going to do at 5 is, notice we have 4, and then what are we going to do? Well, if we look at the top beat will always have a value of 5, no matter what. Ah, thank you, Christina. Thank you so much for the rose. So this is 5. This is the value of 5. If I do this, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. These are all 5s, right? So when we're looking, we want to make sure that these are touching the horizontal bar. So now we have, now if I wrote it out, we would have 55,555.55. That's what that looks like. That's that's 5 okay. Yes, right? So this is 5. Now, what are we going to do? We have 6. Well, what does 6 look like? Well, we know how many items 6 are. They look like sheep. I think they look like sheep, but they look a little derpy because their legs are kind of weird. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. We have 6 sheep. To do 6, we know that this is 1, right? Now, when we add the 5, we have 6. 5, 6. That's what 6 looks like. So we could do 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. And then we have 7. 7 crocodiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will look like this. These columns, all of these columns represent 7. And then we have 8. 8. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 bunnies. So when I decide to go through all of the columns, every column is a value of 8. Thank you, Monica. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it makes sense. Good. So what's after 8? Well, we have 9. We have 9 cows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, but the difference is notice that I counted every number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But on the abacus, we can actually start from 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when we look, this will all be 9. And then if I do this, this is all 9. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Okay, well, we've already done the numbers. How do you do 10? You can't do 10 here. No, you can't. However, this is where our place value comes into play. Place value comes into play. So when we are looking, we have our 9. We have our 9 at our ones column. Let me see if I could do that. Okay, good. So we have our 9 in the ones column. We're only using the one column. When we use the one column, this is the 9. Now 10, what does 10 look like? 10 is a 1 and a 0. 1 and a 0. 1, 0. That's what 10 looks like. So I'm going to do 1 and then I do 0. 1, 0. That's what 10 looks like. And now we can count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 90 is a 9 and a 0, right? 9, 0. And then we do 100. What is 100? Just as how we write, oh yeah, just as how we write, we have 100. 100. Remember, I'm using this dot indicator right here to tell me that this is my ones place. My ones is here. Ones, tens, hundreds. That's why I'm here. When I do 1, it's 100. 100. Remember, the zeros are place values. When we look, we have, now we can count by hundreds, right? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then 1000. Same thing, right? It's exactly the same. So what we're doing is we're understanding this is a 10 decimal system, just as how we write. Exactly how we write. If I did 91,000, 9,100, 9,000, this is the 9 and then 100. 100, 9,100, 9,100. Yeah? Any questions? So what we're doing is we are learning how to read the abacus. Okay, so Monica, since you're the only one in the room, give me a number and I will tell you, and I will show you how it looks like on the abacus. You tell me a number, any number you want. Well, any number as big as 10,000. Or we could do decimals. So if you look, we have our decimals. Our decimal sits between our ones and our tens. So when we look, it doesn't sit on a place value. It sits between. So we have our ones, our tens, and our hundreds. How do you do multiplication with this? Oh, good job. Okay, good. So we have 365.90. So Monica mentioned 365.9. And then we leave the zero like that. Insanity. How do you do multiplication? How? 6, 7? Or is it 6, 7 or 7, 6? So we have 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6. So we have 7, 6, 7, 6. And I have to make sure that my hello. So that's what the 7, 6, 7, 6 is. If we want to do the other way, 6, 7, 6, 7, it should be exactly the same. Hello, thank you so much for the rose. It's chess. Insanity. How do you do multiplication with this? We can work on multiplication, but not right now. Let's put a pin in that. Let's put a pin in multiplication because I want to make sure we understand how to add and subtract. Why? Because multiplication is just really fast adding. So we can do this, and that would be the answer. No, that's not the answer. I'm just kidding. All right. So the one thing we're also going to do is realize how we move the beads. Thank you so much for the rose. Thank you so much for the roses. That's a lot of roses. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, right. What are we doing? We are talking about how to move the beads. Now, notice, even though your fingers might be fat and pudgy, you should be able to still move the beads, right? I could try to use my bead. I could try to move the beads with my toes. If you notice, the beads have an edge to it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to be gentle and just move the beads with the edge. And notice it's very easy to move, very easy and quick to move. So when you're moving, you don't want to be aggressive. You want to be happy when you do abacus. I've never ever understood this until you came in my life. You're welcome, Monica. I appreciate that comment. Let me see if I can. That one? Your viewers might have. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's funny. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. Okay, so when we're moving the beads, right, we want to move the beads. When we move the beads, notice I'm just moving the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So notice I'm using the edges of my fingers. Now, that is the one thing. The other thing is I don't want you guys to flick too hard. What happens is if you flick too hard, then your answer becomes incorrect. So you want to make sure you don't want to flick too hard. So when we're doing it, that's why we got to be gentle when we do things. We want to make sure that we put them in their place. So, hey Tracy, welcome back. Thank you for I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for teaching us all about this, and your generosity is wonderful. I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because yesterday was horrible. This one person was like, "You're making it too complicated," and I'm like, "You can leave." So we're back to here. So what we're doing again, we want to make sure you don't want to flick too hard when you're using the abacus. You want to be gentle and you want to be intentional. So when we're looking at it, the reason why is because we're working with numbers. But the thing is because we're working with numbers, it's easy to move this abacus. It's like a little rattle, right? And so sometimes when I move the abacus all around, because I have to like figure out where I'm going to put my abacus depending on where the camera is, you'll notice that sometimes my answers will be wrong. Because it's very easy to move. So one of the things for you guys, when you guys are working with the abacus, use your left hand to stabilize the abacus, if that makes sense. So we're going to use our left hand to stabilize the abacus. Even though you might be left-handed, you still use your abacus with your left. You still hold the abacus with your left hand and you calculate with your right. When you calculate with the right, the reason why is because you do arithmetic on your left side of the hemisphere. So that's why we do the right side. It's not because we're trying to be leftist and rightist. It's just because that's where you do calculations. So I've been told, but I don't know. That's whatever it is. So does anybody have any questions? What we're going to do is we're going to continue on. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to do some bead recognition. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to show you some beads. And I have this to help. This is a maze that I have created. This maze is just a two digit. We're going to only worry about two digits, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to follow this maze. This maze is kind of cool because we're going to start with one block. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through this maze to get to the finish line. So here is the first number. What number do we think this is? I don't know if you guys can see that. Is that better? There we go. How about that? There we go. So let me represent it on the abacus. If I represent it on the abacus, we have two digits. We're only working with two digits. We have this one, and then we have that one. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. I think that's better. I think that's better. All right. So what number do we think that is? Please put it in the chat. Oh, maybe we should do a almost. Ooh, Caleb. Sir. Okay, let's do a little review. Yes, Bell, it is 58. It's 5. Remember we have 5 and then we have tens. So when we look, we have 50. 50 is our top bead. The top bead will always be 5. And then we have 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 looks like that. That's what 9 looks like. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sophia. So then 96. 96 looks like this. 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 6. 5, 6. Another number was 8. This is what 8 looks like when we have a 0 and an 8. And then 50 and then 53. 53 looks like 5 and then 3. 53. 50, 1, 2, 3. Just so we can review. Okay, cool. So yes, it is 58. So because it's 58, we can go over here. So now that's our next number. Let me see if I can. So if I look, it'd be that and it'd be that. What number do we think this is? 92. How do we know it's 92? We do know it's 92. Okay. So we have 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2. 1, 2. We have our tens and our ones. Yes, great. Makes sense? Easy. Thank you, Caleb, Bella, Monica, Infinite, and Sophia. So we have 92. And now we have this question over here. So I'm going to clear my abacus, and then I have my tens, and then I have my ones. When I look, what number do we think that is? Wow, Caleb's on a roll. Sophia, you too. Infinite. Monica, yes. Big typo. Right? So we have 14. Okay, good. So then this one is easy. Oh, yeah, my face is in the way. Okay, what number is that? We have this number, the tens, and then the ones. When we look, yes, thank you. Good job. Good job, Sophia, Caleb, Monica, Infinite. Yes. Thank you, Tracy. Okay. So 44 takes me to the middle. Oh, come on. These are easy. So what we're doing is we're understanding how to read the abacus. The reason why is because afterwards we're going to go into adding and subtracting. Then we're going to understand how to move the beads. Yes. 66. Oh, good. I'm so happy you enjoy this. This is so good. Cat among us. Cat. This is 66. How do I know it's 66? Because we have our tens and our ones. So if our tens, this is tens and ones. When we look, this is 5, 6. So this is 60. And then here I have another 6. So 66. That's what 66. 51 looks like this. 50 and then 1. That's what 51 looks like. But thank you for playing. I appreciate that. Right? And so we have this number. Let's try this number. Notice every bead touching the horizontal bar is being counted. So when I have my tens and then I have my ones, what does that look like? Ooh, Caleb, well done. Well done. Anybody else want to join Caleb? Almost, Sophia. 31, if you notice, is not the top bead. It's the bottom bead. Oh, good. Oh, good. That makes sense. Yes, so it's 35. No, thank you. I appreciate that because then we can do a review of what the other numbers look like. You know what I mean? So it's good to be able to do that so then I can show what other numbers there are. And I know why sometimes it's good to just to review. Yeah, good. Thank you, Sophia, and infinite. Okay, so we did 35. That takes us down to here. When I look, I have my tens and my ones. So if I have my tens, I have my ones. What number do we think that is? Not 900. How do you get 900? I don't even know how you got 900. Hey, Mark. Yes. Thank you, Infinite. Okay. 55. Almost, Samantha. Because we have 50. This is 50. And then this is 7, 5, 6, 7. We have to remember that any of the beads touching the horizontal bar is being counted. So we have to remember that there's these two beads at the bottom. So it's 57. So Caleb said 900. 900 looks like this. And it's three digits. We're not doing three digits. We're only doing two digits. So when I know, how do I know? Because we have our ones, our tens, our hundreds. So what Caleb said was 900. This is what 900 will look like. Yeah. So we have down here, where are we going? 50, 57. Where is 57? 57. Oh, all right. We're just about done. So we have this number. If I have my tens, and I have my ones. So I have my tens and I have my ones. And this is the last one. What number? Thank you, Caleb. See, I know you're just joshing me. Hey, Apple user, welcome. Sophia, good job. So thank you, Meyer. Okay, cool. Yes, infinite. All right. So that's about reading the abacus, okay? So what we're going to do now, death dealer. No, this is not 45. I'm not sure how you got 45. It is not 45. 45 looks like this. So if this is my tens, this would be 40, and then this is 5. Does that make sense? So this is what 45 would look like. 63, yes, thank you, Ethan. 63 looks like this. 5, 6, 5, 6. All the top beat is a value of 5, and then we have 63. So we have 60, 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense, Death Dealer? So 45 is a little bit completely different. And we're looking at the tens and the ones. Okay, so we're done with that. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is understand that we're going to start moving the beads. When we move the beads, good evening, Ethan. It is late for you. Very late for you. You should be sleeping. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand, I don't know abacus. That's okay. We're going to go through. We're going to go through and we're going to start understanding how to use the abacus. But did those numbers make sense when I showed you how to make 45? Yeah? Did that make sense? Congratulations. Okay, so let's go back. 45. Now when we look, okay, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on and you'll be able to pick it up quick. What we're going to do in abacus world is we're going to focus on the added, right? Because what is it that we're trying to do? Please. Thank you everybody for joining and commenting and participating. Please, we're going to be talking about a different way of adding and subtracting. So if we can hold our criticism, it would be nice. So the first thing we're going to do is in the abacus world is we're going to focus in on the add-in. This is the add-in. So what are we doing? What we're going to do is we know that this is 5. When we look at 5 and then we want to do is we want to add the 1. Is there enough beads to add the 1? Can we do it? Yes, we can because we have one bead that we can move up and then my final answer is 6. So I have 5, 6. Does that make sense? So here's my next question. Is 7 right? I have 7 on the abacus. I have 7 on the abacus. When I want to add the 1, is there enough? Yes, there is. So I'm going to add the 1. Now, if you notice, we have all of these questions, but we always focus on the add-in. We don't focus on the result. I don't know why we're teaching the children what the result is, but what we're trying to do is trying to show what we're trying to do when we do an add-in, right? Or what we're trying to do, either a subtract or add. Doesn't matter. But what we're doing is we're focusing on the number itself that we're trying to add to or subtract away from. The question here is 5. I'm going to add the 5. My question is now to add the 2. Can I add the 2? Yes or no? Please put in the chat. Y or N? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you. Yes, we can. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up the mind, the mental shift. Right. What we're doing is we're not focusing on the 7. We're focusing on the number. We're focusing on the number that we're trying to add. Oh, thank you so much for the flower heart. Flower headband. I think that's what it is. Flower headband. Thank you so much. So again, what we're doing is we're not focusing on the result. We want to focus on the added. That's what I'm focusing on. Because the question is always going to be, can I do it? When I have 3, it's the same thing. I have 5, and then I have 3. Can I add the 3? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So when I do yes, now my answer is 8, right? So we're going through. Thank you guys so much for commenting. So when we go through, again, this is 4. 4 is add, subtract. Add 4 is just the whole thing. So it's the whole bottom row, the whole bottom. That's all we're doing. So some people might have questions like, well, what does the colors mean? The colors mean nothing. So when we look at this abacus, right, I can say move the brown bead, but which brown bead am I using? It's exactly the same. When I move the 4 bead up, it's all about positioning. And in the 4 bottom beads, they move it up. Is there a reason why you're using the 5th column? I am. So if you notice, I have this dot indicator. These are my labels. You can choose any label you want, like a Pokemon. Now, the reason why is because every column is a place value, right? So when we're looking at it, I could choose this one or I could choose this one. I could choose any one. If I choose this one over here, I'm going to be able to have more digits on my abacus. I could do ones, thousands, millions, billions, and trillions. Does that make sense, Death Dealer? So if you want to, you could go all the way over here, and then you have all of this to be your decimals. If you do all of this with your decimals, that's perfectly fine. It just means you have a really small number. Can you do negatives? No, you can't do negatives because if I have 3 pencils, how do I take away 5? So we cannot do negatives. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've spent a lot of time. Thank you. Because quotes, pop into my head. So I like it. Okay. So going back to here. Now when we're looking at the abacus, it doesn't matter what the color is. But I use this one because it's nice and pretty. Right? And it's kind of boring. So depending on where you start could either be a comma or a decimal. Bingo! Yes, exactly. It all just depends on where you want and how big the number gets. Can I give an example of a bigger number? Yes, I can. Gianna. In your name, you have 5,703. 5,703. That's a bigger number. It's really just every individual column is a place value. That's really what it is. We want to give me another number? We can do another number. Will has 916. So we can do 916. That's it. It clicked. Yeah. Give me another big number. Give me a big number. You give me a big number. 575. Ah, too easy. 500, 5, 0, 0, 7, 5. So if we're dealing with money, if I want to do something bigger, right? or smaller, right? 575. And then you have blah, 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 like smaller numbers here, right? These would all be like 111, whatever. 500, 500.75, and then everything else. Yeah? Give me another number. And then if you want to do 500 here, you can do 500 here, right? No, you can't because there's not enough. This is easy. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's so easy. It is easy. It's going to get a little bit because when we start going into adding and subtracting. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is we're going to be adding. I don't know, Gianna, did that help you? Okay, if we add, we will know how to subtract. When we add, we will know how to subtract. I have 2, I'm going to go to the horizontal bar. I go to the horizontal bar, I'm adding. When I subtract, right, when I subtract, I want to go away from the horizontal bar, just like that. Let me know, Gianna, if you have any more questions. Those are very good questions. Let me know if you have any more questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to understand what? We're going to understand when we move the horizontal bar, when we move our beads, we want to go to the horizontal bar. When we go away from the horizontal bar. Sorry. When we want to add, you want to go to the horizontal bar. When we want to subtract, we go away. So what is 2? I have 2, take away 1. Take away 1. That's what I'm doing. Exactly. But what we're doing is we're moving it away from the horizontal bar. So if I have 4, take away 1, I'm doing that. Now what we're doing is we're moving one bead. We're not moving the green bead. So if I go back to this one, and I wanted to have 3, and I take away the 1, I'm only moving the 1 bead. Does that make sense? I'm only moving the 1 bead. That's what I'm doing. I'm minusing the 1. When I do 2, it is the same thing. If I have 4 and I take away 2, I'm moving 2 beads. It doesn't matter which 2 beads. Uh, if I have 8 and I take away 2, I'm moving these 2 beads. Those are the 2 beads I'm moving. If I did 7, I'm going to do 2 beads. This is all I'm doing, moving these 2 beads. Wow. This is actually pretty cool. Thank you, Meyer. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It gets better. It gets better because we're going to start adding and subtracting. But right now, we're only learning how to move the beads, right? So we're going to do 3. Now, remember when I added the 3, right? I'm going to add 4. You go to the horizontal bar. When I subtract, I go away from the horizontal bar. That is 3. My brother, why were you talking about learning how to use the abacus? I always thought it was more complicated. Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does. Death dealer. Can you try adding with larger numbers? Yeah, I could. I could. So here's a question. Oh, that didn't work well. Let me see. Let me see. Here. Here's a bigger question. I need to write it out. Oh, here it is. This will be easy. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Let me see. Because I don't want to think. So I have to find my notes. Oh, I missed it. Um, Anybody else have more questions while I try to find my question? The reason why is because I'm tired of thinking. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. A person uses, oh, yeah. 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 I think I know, or whatever. Yep. She uses the abacus. Yep. Is she the one that does the competition on who calculates the fastest, Bill Gates or her? Yeah, she does abacus in her head. I think she's teaching now. Okay, so here's my question. Here is my question. I need paper. Okay. Okay. Here is a bigger question. 13578. 21311. And we're gonna add that. There's your bigger number. So when we look, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put it on our abacus, right? We do 1, 3, oh, 3, 5, 7, 8. Okay. Then what are we going to do? Well, now we do 2. Can we add 2? Is there enough beads to add the 2? Yes, I'm going to add 2. So I add 2. Can I add 1? Yes, I can add 1. Can I add 3? Yes, I can add 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I add 1, and I add 1. So my final answer is, what is my final answer? Can we write it in the comments? What is my final answer? Can you read that? 34. Yes, thank you. 34,889. Good. Good. Thank you guys. You're missing a couple of eights. Okay. So that is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how it scales, right? It's very easy to see with the small numbers, right? The small numbers is like this is too easy. Do you go from left to right using that? I do. I do. The reason why is because we read it that way, right? We read 21,311. We don't read it the other way. We don't read 1 tens 300 1,020 something. Zerfi. Sorry, I'm not good with math. Did this not make sense? Oh, but Zerfi, I don't know if you know how to read the abacus. You have to learn how to read the abacus before we go into it. So, what are we doing? So when we're looking at it, we're understanding how to read it, right? So again, what we're doing is we're going to do 4. This is the number 4. We add 4 to the abacus. We go to the horizontal bar. When we subtract, we go away from the horizontal bar. So I want to do is I want to subtract 3. That's what we have here. So I did, but I'm kind of slow in my head. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. As long as it makes sense, right? What we're trying to do is it needs to make sense. It'd be obviously, it'd be better if you had an abacus in your hand. You're looking through the video. You can't touch it. It's and that's what I noticed that was very interesting. I see this picture, but seeing it on the abacus makes a world of difference. How do you carry? Oh, that's a good question. Let's put a pin in that one. That one is how to make a 10. But before we do that, we have to learn how to make a 5. So let's put a pin in that, Death Dealer, if that's okay. And we were going to continue on because this is all about adding and subtracting. So right now, what we're doing is we're learning how to move the beads, and then we're going to go into understanding, well, what happens when there's not enough. So here's my question is minus the 4. If that's okay, we're going to put a pin in that. Yeah? So we have 9, and then I want to take away the 4. I'm going to take away 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take away the 4 beads. That's what I'm doing. So my final answer is 5. Now we know when we add the 5, we're going to go to the horizontal bar. When we go away from the horizontal bar, that's minus the 5. So when I have 9 and I want to take away from the 5, you go away from the horizontal bar. If I have 4 and I want to add 5, then I'll go to the horizontal bar. So what we're doing is we're just looking to see how the beads move. Again, it's very simple. So if I have if I have 1, I'm going to add 6. It's 1 bead on top and 1 bead on bottom. I'm going to add the 6, right? If I have 2 and I want to add 6, I'm going to have 1 bead on top and 1 bead on the bottom. And but it's tricky. It's not tricky. It's not tricky. You just need to pay. It's attention to detail. Did you create the book? I know it's off topic. Yes, I did create my book. I created many books. There's this one. There's a bunch of them in the TikTok shop. I created this one, and then we can go further. And then I created this one, which is really cool. Oh, no, it's not off topic because that's why I'm here. So if you look, this one is the great one, right? But we'll get into this. We'll get into formulas in a little bit. I do not, I have an author's page. I have an author's page, which I don't have a shop yet. So my name is Lynette. Welcome everybody to my room. I have been teaching abacus for 20 plus years, and I'm now just getting it into the internet and building out workbooks and worksheets. So right now what we're doing is we're understanding how to move the beads. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do addition. And then after that, we'll do subtraction. But thank you. I appreciate that. So we were at the 6. When we were at the 6, we can do 7, right? If we have 2 and we add 7, we have 5, 6, 7. We bring it together like that. So my final answer is 9. Thank you guys for the questions. No, I appreciate all the questions. Okay, 9. 9 is easy. Why? Because it's the whole number. It's the whole column. There's nothing more than that. That's it. Thank Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, where did the abacus originate? The abacus originated in the Mesopotamia. That's as far as it goes. It goes all the way back to when they started to not. They no longer did bartering, right? What they're doing is they're starting to do exchanges. So bartering, they did bartering, and then they started doing like the money system. So then when the money system started happening, abacus is the word itself is called beads, and it started, yeah, Mesopotamia. I don't know where that is. I think it's like somewhere in Rome or Greece or something like that, but it's like a long time ago. It was before Christ. And so as the time goes on, then it went into like all over the place. And then the Chinese made an abacus that looks very similar to this, which is what you've seen in Madagascar, Middle East. Oh, thank you, Death Dealer. Yes, somewhere in the Middle East. Well, just like our numerators, right? Is Arabic, which is interesting, but we never understood how to use this. I don't know why. So the Chinese came around and they made it into a frame. There's another one called the Russian one, and the Russian one is horizontal, and they do 10 beads. But this one is, it works very similar to the Japanese one. So the Japanese came around after the Chinese. The Japanese came around and said, you know what, we'll make it more efficient. So they made it more efficient. But it works exactly the same. We have one, two, three, four, five. Because we have five, we're going to trade this in to go like this. So this is five, and then we count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to trade this in, we make it to 10. No, you know what? We're going to trade this, and we're going to make it to 10. So now we have 10. That's it. We have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is the Chinese one. This is the Japanese one. This is the more modern one. There's not too many people that do the Chinese one anymore. Okay, so that is a little bit about abacus and where it originated from. Oh, and now we're ready for what happens when there's not enough. Hey, Jubilee, welcome. So what happens when there's not enough? Does the book come with an abacus? It does not. Not yet. Where I'm from, we have the Russian one. Oh, you know what? You know what? If you want to modify, you can. You can. So if you have the Russian one, you can modify it. And this is what I was thinking. Because there's a few people that have the Russian one. So what I would do is I would tape 5 blocks together, right? This is one column. And then I would keep these ones loose. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to figure out, Death Deal, I have to figure out how to create a bundle. I haven't figured out how to create a bundle yet, but I was thinking about it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, right? What I would do is I would move it, right? Instead of having it sideways like this, I would move it this way, if that makes sense, Zurfi. So then now we can, right? If this was the explanation of the Russian abacus, I need I need string. I don't have string. Oh, I'll use this. Okay, so what we can do is you get a piece of string and you line it like this. Your string will be your horizontal bar. And now you can move. You add the 5 and add the 1. You could add the 2. You can add the 3 and then 4. So then this would be 9. You would be ignoring this. So that's what you would do if you wanted to modify your abacus. So then if we want to take away, it would look like that. That's what I would do. You don't have to buy an abacus if you already have one. You can modify it. Yeah? All right. So that's that. That's okay. So any other questions? Yeah, but we don't. Well, I know you don't, but if you wanted to, you could. I don't teach the Russian abacus. I teach the soroban. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to spend money if you don't have to. But yeah, you can always use what you've got. That's what the abacus does, right? Abacus does what abacus, we use what we have, and I'll show you. I will show you what I mean. So what we're going to do is what happens when we don't have enough beads? My question will be, what's my question? My question is 4 plus 4. So here is 5. My question is 4 plus 4. That's really easy, Lynette. I'm like, yeah, I know. But what we need to do is we need to understand how to we need to understand our fundamentals, right? I don't know if you guys watch Karate Kid, but Karate Kid, there's a take the jacket on, take the jacket off. The old one where I grew up with, we had wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. It's the same thing with this. We can do this, right? And when we do it, we're going to show you the abacus way. So in the abacus way, we have 4. Notice there's a restriction. I don't have any more beads to add the 4. Well, we have this concept that we're teaching the children. We have this concept teaching the children how to make a 5. Now it's fine, but why are we teaching the kids how to make a 5? We have 1, 4, 1 and 4 and 1. We have 3 and 2 and 2 and 3. I don't know why. But in abacus world, we do it. We utilize it. I have to go. Oh, not a problem, Zurfi. I'll see you in my next live. So here's the question, right? The question is, why are we teaching this? I don't know why. But in abacus, what we could do is we can power up our equation. Oh, that didn't make sense. We can power it up. What? What do you mean by power it up? Well, what we're going to do is we take the equation. We have this equation. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So here's the question, right? 4. Oh, sorry, 4. I want to plus the 4. But what I need to do is I will substitute it. Why? Because I don't have any more beads to add the 4. So what I could do is I could substitute. I'm going to isolate the variable. I move this 1 to this side, right? That's how we isolate the variable. And then we have this little formula, this little direction. Plus the 5 minus the 1. What does that mean? On the abacus, which is very visual, we want to plus the 5, take away the 1. So my answer is now 8. Does that make sense? We can do it again. Let's do it again. We can do it with money. So if I had 4 and I want to add the 5, I want to add 4 again, but to add this 4, I only have 5 cents. I only have a nickel. If I only have a nickel, I have enough money. I just have it in a nickel. What do? I give it to you, but it's too much. So I need to take away the 1. You have to give me back some change. So my final answer is now 8. Does that make sense? We can do it again. If I have 3, right? I have 3 on my abacus. I only have the nickel. Because I only have the nickel, I have enough money, right? I need to give you 4 cents. To give you, right? I'm going to give this to you, and then my change will be 1 penny. You make it so easy to get. Oh, thank you, Faith. Thank you, Faith. Yeah, no, there was, okay, I'm going to go on a little rant. There was a person yesterday. They're like, well, I'm just going to use pencils. And they're like, you can use 4 pencils plus another 4 pencils. I'm like, sure, you could do that, but then you got to count it all. I don't know. I was just really upset. Do it again. Okay, I'll do it again. So let's do another number. Can we do another number, Death Dealer? I'm going to do 2. So my question is 2, right? I have 2. I don't have any more beads, right, to add 4. We want to focus in on the 4. The add-in is what we need to focus on. Can I add 4? No, I cannot add 4. I need to utilize this 5. When I utilize this 5, I have enough money, but I only have 1 nickel. So what are we going to do? I give you 1 nickel, 5 cents, right? But because I give you 5 cents, it's too much. 5 and 4 is too much. What happens? I have to exchange it. I have to minus the 1. So you will get 6 plus the 5 minus the 1. And then my answer is 6. Does that make sense? So yeah. Yeah, I just that person was really yes, right? So what I'm trying to do is we have this concept, which is great, not a problem. But the question is we can utilize it, right? we can power it up or oh, do some, we can do it again, but a different set of numbers. Here is 3. What? Yeah. Now we have a concept that is repeatable. All we're doing is we're understanding how to do this. That is fantastic, Death Dealer. So when we're doing it, we're going to isolate the variable. Isolating the variable means the 3 is by itself. When the 3 is by itself, I will have 5 minus 2. Again, how did I get that? Because we're teaching this concept. Because we're teaching the concept of 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, we're utilizing this 5. We're utilizing this 5. So the question is 4. If I want to add the 4 on my abacus, and I want to add 3. There's not enough beads to add the 3. Ooh. So now what do I do? Well, remember, I can utilize my 5. I have enough money. I just have it as a 5. Oh, sorry. I need to show you my 4, right? I have enough money, but you only need 3 cents of my 5, right? So if I give you my 5 cents, you need to give me back change. You need to give me back 2. So if I plus the 5 minus the 2, now my answer is 7. Doop, doop, doom. Yeah? How are we doing? We can do it again with the 6. Now remember, right, we don't want to memorize our doubles. We don't memorize 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. We don't memorize that. We don't memorize that 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. We don't memorize any of that. Tracking like a tank. So when we're doing it, right, we want to understand, we want to add the 3. If I have 3 beads, right, and if I want to add the 3, when I'm adding a 3, I only have this nickel. This nickel is what I'm going to give to you. So I give you this nickel, but that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. So I need to take away 2. So I add the 5 and I take away the 2. My final answer is now 6. Right? Easy. Easy. But see, it's a concept. You can do number lines. You could do number lines. It's up to you. But I'm not talking about number lines. I'm big people. I want to show you how to do it conceptually. Why? Because it's now what will happen is it will be easier when the numbers get bigger. Let me show you. Here is a bigger number. Again, big numbers, right? What we can do, you can do friendly numbers. That's another concept that they're teaching, right? You can do friendly numbers, or you can do it on the abacus. There you go. So we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Then we want to add the 2. The question is always, can I add 2? Ooh, yes, we can add 2. Here, can I add 4? Can I add the 4? No, I can't add the 4. How do you add the 4 here? Do you remember how to add the 4? We had to use the 5. So if I give you my nickel, right? Yes, thank you, Death Dealer. It is plus the 5 minus the 1. So it's plus the 5 minus the 1. Right? So now what we're doing is now it's scalable. I want to add the 3, I will add the 3. If I add the 1, I will add the 1. Add another 1, I'm going to add another 1. So notice I don't have to worry about friendly numbers. I just worry about the individual columns that we have. Make sense? Okay. So we have that. We have that. So the first thing we're going to do is understand that we're going to do, oh yeah. So we have the adding. Now, if you notice, we can do subtraction. What? We can do, yeah. But subtraction is exactly the same. What does that mean? Well, when we're subtracting, the concept is just reverse. So I will have, let me do 4, because 4 is easier, right? My question is 8. If I have 8, take away 4. If I do 9, can I take away 4? Yes, I can take away the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a problem. Now the question is if I have 8. If I have 8 and I want to take away the 4, how do I take away the 4? This is how I do it. I just do the reverse. So I minus the 5 plus the 1, and I go up like that. Does that make sense? So what did I just do? If I want to add, I move the beads. If I want to subtract the 4, it's the same beads, but the opposite direction. So you know how to add, you'll know how to subtract. We want to add 4, we just move these 2 beads. We want to subtract, we just move these 2 beads. Right? We could do it again. If I had 7, I want to subtract 4 minus the, that's 8. 7. 7 minus 4. Minus 4 is minus the 5 plus the 1. So if I want to add 4, I have 3. I add the 4, it's plus the 5 minus the 1. Do you see how it's the reverse, but it's the same? This is the number pattern that we're looking at. Here is the number pattern. Does that make sense? So we have 6. Take away 4, same thing. My number pattern is minus the 5 plus the 1. When I want to add, it is plus the 5 minus the 1. Great. Okay, so we're okay now? We okay how to read the abacus? We're okay on how to move the beads and what happens when there's not enough. Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Faith. Anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Any questions about arithmetic? Any questions about abacus? So this one was that one. So there's a whole book series that I'm creating. Oh, excuse me. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, we did this, we did this, we did this. How are we doing? Now we're on to it. What we're going to do is we're going to do a carrying on. What does that mean? Carrying on really just means how to make a 10. Making a 10 is the concept that we're teaching the kids. But what we're going to do is we're going to utilize it. Yes, we're going to utilize it. We understand. Hello, Alex. So what we're going to do, just as Dethia asked about, is the carrying on. What we're going to do is we're going to understand how to make a 10. Why are we going to learn how to make a 10? We're going to learn how to make a 10 because that's what they do, is they carry on. I will have to figure this one out. Okay, so if I have this one. When we start, let's do 8 because 8's a better, I feel like 8's a better number. Now what's going to happen is but in abacus world, there's a set framework in a progression when we start learning numbers. So I'm not going to give you any number and all the numbers. I'm going to be very systematic when I give you numbers. That's why it's different. It's different than mainstream math. So here we are, we're at 7. When I add the 7, I don't have enough beads to add 8, right? Obviously. 5, 6, 7. There's no more beads to add the 8, right? So what are we going to do? We have that concept, right? We have the concept of how to make an 8. Tell me in the chat, how do you make a 10 with an 8? How do you make a 10 with an 8? Please put it in the chat. If I want to make a 10, thank you. Yes, Death Dealer, thank you. So what does that mean? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify plus the 2. Yes. No, not plus 2. Take away the 2. Why? Because we're going to modify it. When we modify it, we're going to isolate the 8. When we isolate the 8, this is what I'm going to substitute it. What does that mean? So what's going to happen is if I have 7, right? I have 7. I want to add the 8. I need to substitute it. When I substitute, if you look, I have plus the 10 minus the 2. I'm going to plus the 10 and then I take away the 2. My final answer is 15. What? That was fast. Plus the 10, 1, 0. 1, 0. Plus the 10 minus the 2. Plus the 10, 1, 0. Minus the 2. I'm going to take away the 2 over here. That's what it told me, so I'm going to take away the 2. And I take away the 2. Remember, I go away from the horizontal bar. My final answer is 15. Questions? Let's do it again. Okay, let's do it again. I have 4. When I want to add the 8, there's not enough beads to add the 8. So what do? I can go to the asteroid belt, right? With this asteroid belt, I'm going to cross out 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 2 left. So that means I got to add it. So I go to the asteroid belt, but I got to remove 2. So my final answer is 12. And then we can do it again. We'll do 9. 9. 9. We do 9. 9 plus 8. I have my asteroid belt again, right? Fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go to the asteroid belt. That's too much. So I need to come back and I need to take away 2. So my final answer is 17. Does that make sense? How are we doing? Okay, never mind. I see. I didn't see your question. It must have been filtered out. So we have 1, 7, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 1. That's our tens. Cool? Yeah? Oh, yes. Hold, please. I get it. Just not clicking. It's no, it takes time because don't forget, I've been doing it for like 20 years. It took me time. You're just seeing it within an hour. All right? Okay. Let's see if it works with this. Let's see if it works with this. If I have 7 and I need 8, right? I have 7 and I have 8. I only have a dime. If I only have a dime, I'm going to give you my dime. I have enough money. I have enough. I have a dime, but I've given you too much. I need to take away 2. So my final answer is 15. I see the number, still having to see the process. Yes, it's different because we never see it this way. We never see the add-ins. We always see the result. We're always given the result and then we have to fill it in. But in abacus, we see the add-in. You figure out what the add-in is. The add-in is an 8, if that makes sense. We can do it again with a 7. The reason why I do the numbers 8 and 7 is because 9 is a little bit confusing. The why 9 is confusing because it's plus the 10 minus the 1. Now, if we do 7, right? 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. What are we going to do? We're going to isolate this number. To isolate it, this means that the 3 has to go to this side. We need to substitute plus the 10 plus the 7 is equal to plus the 10 minus 3. So when we are looking, our question is 9. If I have 9, right? If I have 9 and I want to add 7, if I want to add 7, right? I have enough money. I'm going to give you my 10 cents. But if I add 7 and I give you my 10 cents, how much do I get back? So if I add the 10 cents, how much do I get back? I need to get back 3 because I'm utilizing this 10. That's what carrying on is, 3. So my final answer is 16. So what are we doing? We're understanding the carrying on process, right? So let's see if we did it this way. So let's see if we did here. Let's see if we did 19. 19 plus 7, right? What do? We know that this is 16. We know it's 16 because we're old people, right? But if I showed you 19 on the abacus, right? I have 19. Now I need to add 7. When I add the 7, there's not enough beads to add the 7. So what am I going to do? If I show you 19, pretend that there's another 10, right? I need to add the 7. What do? No, that's wrong. This is 19. I do the carrying over. I add the 1, right? That's this. I add the 1. But then I know that this is 6. Why? Because we know. But instead of doing it this way, which is regular math, we're doing an exchange. So the carrying on, that doesn't happen. That's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Because we don't do a trade. We don't do a trade here. We just know that it's 16 because we know that 9 and 7 is equal to 16. So we have to carry the 1 over there. We don't do trade-ins in mainstream math. That's why the problem is. That's why the problem is. Because there's no restrictions. You know why? You know what I mean? Because if I give you a blank piece of paper, then the sky is the limit. But because we have restrictions on the abacus, we need to use what we have. Does that make sense? How do you, we know that this is 16. Oh, I know. So how do we know that this is 16? You add a lot. Here's my blocks. So if I did 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what do? We add 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing in mainstream math. That's what we're doing. We're combining it together. And then what do? Then we got to trade it. Then we have to trade it. This is worth 10. So we got to do this. That's the difference. But in abacus, we don't do it that way. In abacus, we do trades. So if I have a 10, so the question is if I have a 10, we work with what we have. This is 9. I need to add 7. I have a 10. There's not enough to add there's too much here, right? So I need to break off 3. Break off 3, and then my final answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does that make sense? This is very interesting. That's how I would do it. So if I have 9 and I have 10, but that's too much, you got to give me back something. Yeah, that's what I would do. How does that work? Is that everybody okay? Did I lose anybody? Show me 26 on the abacus. 26. What we did is we had 9. We had 19. We add the 7. To add the 7, we know it's plus the 7 is equal to plus the 10 minus 3. Plus the 10 minus 3. Good. Yeah? Makes sense now? We can do it again. Are we ready for another one? So here's my little spinning thing. We get a little paper clip. And we spin it. 18. So I'm going to add 18 here. Can I do it? Yeah, I can. If I have 18, I want to add 7. Add 7. What do I know? I know plus 7 is equal to plus the 10. Plussing the 10 is the carrying on. Minus 3. So I'm going to plus the 10, and I'm going to take away the 3. My final answer is 25. It's a different way of thinking. It is a different way of thinking.
This is the way. This is the way.
How are we doing? I get it. Oh, good. Yeah, it's just like playing the piano. You just need to practice it. And it gets to be, obviously it gets to be more intuitive. Your nieces, because they're young, will be faster than you, hands down. But if you don't mind me asking, how old are your nieces? My boys, I have three boys. They all gone through abacus. They all gone through it. It was a pain, but they've gone through it. So the five, it will take a little bit. My boys, they were not lucky to get my activities. I think my activities are pretty fun. Um, for the eight, it would be simply just tell them how to add and how to move the beads, and they'll be fine, right? And then what you can do is you can go straight into adding the five and subtracting the five. You can start with the 8-year old. You could start with adding the five and subtracting the five because it's easy to move the beads. They'll get to understand that. I mean, unless you don't unless they don't get it. Um, I'm still in the process of making my book one, but you could, if you wanted to, use this preschool one for your 5-year old. The 5-year old, this one is about number recognition and bead recognition, and then you have activities on the relationship of the numbers. And so counting forwards, counting backwards, what comes before, what comes after. That's the preschool one. And then what number is bigger, what number is smaller. But then towards the end is where you start doing the adding and moving of the beads, is what we did in the beginning of our life. So then when they start doing this, then they can see how the beads move. And I try to make it kind of interactive. And there's activities. So this one is like follow the boxes. This one is there's a puzzle. This one's a little game that I made. And then they can make happy faces or some sort of faces. This is what this is. They're making faces. And then here is like pixel art and stuff. So I was trying to make it a little bit more enjoyable than my boys had it. So then after they know how to do the adding the five and subtracting the five, then they can go into adding the 10 and subtracting the 10. And that's where you do the carrying over, carrying on. And that's what we're doing right now. So what we can do is we can do the minus. When we do minus, it's the same thing, just reverse. So if we do 17, let's see, I have to find paper. Oh, excuse me. Dun, 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 dun. Here's paper. Okay, so here's the next ones, right? If I had 17 minus 8, we did that, didn't we? 17, 17 minus 8. So when we're looking at it, right, we have 17, and then we take away the 8. Take away the 8. Looks very familiar, doesn't it? Remember when we add 8? When we add the 8, what are we doing? When we add the 8, we plus the 10 minus the 2. When we subtract the 8, what are we doing? Minus the 10 plus the 2. So we're going to minus the 10 plus the 2. My final answer is 9. Yeah? How are we doing? Make sense? So now it becomes scalable. No matter what the numbers are, you'll know how to work it. And that's the thing. That's the secret. The secret to adding and subtracting is this knowing how to do adding, making of the 10 and making of the 5. That is the secret. That is everything you need to know. And in this book, which is my abacus formula, this one, I show you all of the formulas for the 5 adding and subtracting. Notice that they're very similar. It just depends on the different what do you call it? Operation, right? If you want to add the 4, you need to do this. If you want to take away the 4, you have to do this. Same thing with the 3. Add the 3 or take away the 3. So those are the concepts. So then we have making the 10. Again, it's the same thing. We add the 10, we want to add the 5 or minus the 5. I'm sorry, 9. We add the 9 or we take away the 9. We add the 8 or we take away the 8. So this is just a one-stop shop just to be able to, and then what we're trying to do here is I'm showing you this property called commutative property. Because I have commutative property, so are you suggesting? Yes, I would suggest to start with the plus the 5 and minus the 5. That's where I would. That's where I would. And then the for the younger one, you could start with this one, which is the preschool one. And then this is the so this would be so if anything, I would start with this one, see if they like it, right? Because it'll be easy for the 8-year-old to catch on, right? To be able to catch on how to move the 5. It's pretty intuitive. And so, but the younger one, depending on how much schooling, it might be your younger one, the youngest niece might be so quick that you'll blow through this as well. So, but that's what I would suggest. And then after these two, it'd be making the 10. Yeah. And then this one here is the abacus formula. It's just mostly for you to teach, right? I would not tell them, just so you know, I would not tell them isolate the variable. I would just say memorize this. You know what I mean? Because kids don't care. I'm telling you because you're an adult, right? I want to know why. Why am I learning this? That's how I am. I want to know why. But when I was teaching my kids, I never said, why are we doing 4? It's not that. It's always do we have enough? So if I have my abacus, I'll be like, okay, I want to add the 4. I need to add another 4. Do you have enough? And that's what I would do. I would switch my questions to them. So for the younger ones, I would say, do you have enough? You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at it, that would be the kids, because when you start going into bigger numbers, and you'll be able to start installing critical thinking. Do I have enough? I have to know. If you don't, what can you do? That's where this framework comes in. And the framework is very critical of, and everybody does it. This is not just my thing, right? What I did is I'm trying to popularize abacus. But this framework you will see it be done in all of abacus world. I just wrote it out, if that makes sense. And I formulated it so it makes sense to be as a formula. So always the question is there enough? Yes, then just add the beads. No, can you use the 5? Yes, then just add the beads, right? We went through this. And then if there's not enough beads, then you use the 10. That's how we're going to do it. And this is everything about adding and subtracting, adding and subtracting. And it's scalable. It doesn't matter what the number is. We can do more adding and subtracting to show you the power of understanding this fundamental. So one of them was what? One of them was, here was one of them about adding 99, right? 99, let's do 8. We know 8. We do 99. 99. We want to add the 8. When we add the 8, we know plus the 8 is equal to plus the 10 minus the 2. Okay, when we're doing it, we're adding 8 here. We're adding 8 here. When we add the 8, we can't. We have to minus the 2 plus the 10. Let's minus the 2 first. Minus the 2 plus the 10, because I don't want to forget. So I'm going to minus the 2, right? And then I'm going to plus the 10. You're always going to work with the column to the left. You're going to plus the 10. Remember 10. 1, 0. 1, 0. Can you add the 1? No. We're back to here. Can you add the 1? No. You cannot. Can you add the 5? No. No. I cannot add the 5. Can you use the 10? It's not, then use the 10. Plus the 10, so what is it? Plus the 10 minus the 9. Why? Because we're trying to add 1. 1, 0. So we got to find it. 1. We're trying to add 1 plus the 10 minus the 9. So what's going to happen? I'm adding the 1 here. I need to plus the 10 minus the 9. Plus the 10 minus the 9. My final answer is 107. 107. What did we just do here? We did a two-step equation. We did this one, right? And then this. So we have 8, and then this is uh, minus the 9 plus the 10, and then minus the 2. So if I put that in parentheses, that's what it looked like. Did that make sense? Death dealer? I don't know who else is here. Sophia? Faith? Are we all right? What did we just do? We took our information that was here and we Tetrised our information, right? Everything you know is here. It just depends on how you build your blocks. That's all it means. It just depends on how you build the block. It's like Lego. Every piece is a Lego piece. It just depends if they can fit into each other. I fell asleep. Sophia, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. And it's amazing that that's all you really need to know. You only need to know how to make a 5 and how to make a 10. And you need to know you need to know how to minus it. If you know how to subtract it, then you're golden. Then that is the secret to all adding and subtracting. Yeah. We can do another one. Hey, Char, welcome back. Welcome back. Abacus World, we call it mixed formula. I'm going to change that and I'm going to call it a two-step equation. The reason why I call it two-step is because it aligns with algebra. We do little bits of algebra in abacus. Abacus is the gateway to complex math. So I'm trying to use math terminologies that's being used in mainstream math, such as isolating the variable, substitution, you know what I mean? Commutative property. So let's do another one. Oh, you know what? We'll do minus. We'll do a minus. It's a carrying over, right? So it is 100 minus what? Minus 19. That's a lot of ones, but we'll see how that works. Wow, mainstream math with an abacus. Is it abacuses or abaci? I don't know. I think it's both. It's not either or. I think it's both. Like it can be mooses or mises. No, it's not like that. But I don't know. It's one of those things. It can be. I think it can be both. Okay, so the question here, right? We have 100. This is 100. We're going to take away 1 first. Take away 1. Take away 9. Take away 1. Take away 9. Take away 1. How do we take away the 1? How do we take away the 1? Is there enough beats to take away the 1? Are you on tomorrow? I am. I will be on tomorrow. Earlier, because I have a class. Excuse me. So I'm going to try to get on about 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 7 a.m. PST. Yeah. Yeah, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Because I have class at 9:30. I have to get ready for my class. All right. So we're gonna do 19. 19. Take away 1, take away 9, take away 1. Okay. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand we're going to take away the 1. There's no beads to take away the 1. What do we do? Can we use the 5? No, we can't use the 5. So we got to come down here. Take away 1 is what? Minus the 10 plus the 9. Minus the 10 plus the 9. Are we all right? Does that make sense? Minus the 10 plus the 9. Cool. Thanks for joining, Death Dealer, and thank you for the questions. I hope it helps. I'll be here. But yeah. And then I have like all my posts and everything. Ask me a question, I can answer it in a post or whatever. Okay, cool. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. I really do think that this is the greatest thing next to sliced bread. And then we want to take away the 9. What? Oh yeah, we're right here. No, I'm sorry. 9. We want to take away the 9. Is there enough beads to take away the 9? No. So we're right here. So then we have to go here. Minus the 9 is what? Minus the 10 plus the 1. So we're going to do minus the 10 plus the 1. What is our answer? Our answer is 81. 81. How would they do it in old math? Thank you, Char. How would they do it in old math? Right? It'd be old math. You have to cross this out and add that 1. You know that 10 take away 1 is 9. But then there's this. Oh, I see. No. So what would they do? They would do this. They would do this first. That would be 10. Cross this out, right? And then they would have to cross this out, and that would be 9. So it'd be 9, 8, and then 1, 9. We start the ones place with normal math. Yeah, I forgot. It's been so long. It's been a long time. So, yeah. You could do it the other way, but then there's more, right? You do 100, take away 9. You have to do is minus the 9 is what? Minus the 10 plus the 1 minus the 10 plus the 9 minus the 10. You could do that, but then you take away the 1. I don't know. It feels a little backwards. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's been so long. I don't teach mainstream math, so it's been a long time. I think the last time I saw it was when I was in school. Yeah. My boys, I never had to worry about my boys because they already knew how to do this. So I haven't seen it when they were in school. Because by then they already knew abacus, and they were fine with. I'm leaving. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sophia. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. But Char, I am going to be heading off. I've been on for a little bit. It's getting a little tired. But do you have any specific questions, Char, that we can talk about? Because I've gone through my whole spiel of the adding and subtracting. It's good to see you. Oh, it's good to see you too. I'm so happy you came in and joined. Yeah. If you have any specific questions before I head out, was there anything that I can answer? Can you? Oh, explain for I don't have. Okay. I'm trying to do. Okay. Here, let me workshop this with you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be more comparative. This is what we do with mainstream math, and this is what we do with abacus math. I think that will help understand the difference, but I don't know if that would confuse everybody more. That was the one thing I wonder. All right. If there's nothing else, Char, thank you so much for joining. I will see you in my next live. I do plan to come on tonight, but I'm not sure because I'm going to go out to eat for a little bit. So I think I'm going to come on tonight, but we'll see. Yeah? All right. Have a good day, Char. Thank you again for joining. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you too. You too. See you later. Bye. Oh.